play together. He said that. Now we're going to talk about what he said. He says that, and she says that. They play together. He even advised his friends, if you marry a young virgin girl like this, then you should play with her. Take time. And they used to run. She said, I used to beat him in a race, and then later years when I got older and heavier, he used to beat me in the races. She talked about many things that they did together. Then she talks about sex. Let me tell you about this. Aisha happens to be the #1 scholar for women in all of Islam. That's a fact. No other woman has given us so much information about the things about women. No man has given us anything compared to what Aisha has done either. So we consider her more than just a scholar because our prophet told us that she was the mother of the believers. Yet she never had any children. Yes. Now I want to keep going because we've got several other topics here. But I'd like for you to know that if you would take all the stories that she said about her relationship with Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the stories that he said about her, this is a love story. A big love story. So much so that after he passed away, you know she never got married. In fact, she was never seen out in public again after that, except that she would be totally covered. Even her face was covered. Yes, that's a fact. Because this is something very important that she feels I need to live up to. And it was what Allah wanted to. And she's obeying Allah. She lived many years after him and shared her experiences, and especially she shared what the teachings were for a man and woman to be together, how to be intimate with each other, how to love each other, how to caress each other, and how to have a good experience sexually together. And she explained it in such detail that nothing since then has been equal to the teaching of Islam in this intimate relationship. Even the research done by Masters and Johnson in the 1970s in the book, which is called Everything You Want to Know About Sex But Was Afraid to Ask, doesn't compare with the research that she offered us 1,400 years ago. And it's very beautiful. So much so that I challenge these people when they come to me. I challenge them. Let us take these hadiths and let us remove the names so that nobody will know who we're talking about, and remove the dates and remove the places so nobody will know where. But then take the story, all of these hadiths, even from the Quran, because Allah defended Aisha in the Quran in Surah An-Nur. Take it. Take the whole story and go to any psychologist or psychiatrist or social worker or counselor that you know and ask them to read this and give you their response. And you know what they're going to say, and you know it and I know it. They're going to say, wow, this is too good to be true. This is the love story of all love stories. This is the story that Shakespeare wanted to write when he wrote Romeo and Juliet, but he wound up making them commit suicide at the end. In our story, everybody lives happily ever after in the Jannah. And then that counselor, psychiatrist, or social worker is going to turn to you and say, this is the relationship you wish you had. And what will you say then? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, really? Yeah. Or would you like to have a relationship where your wife never spoke bad of you because she never spoke bad against her husband? How many women can say that today, that they never spoke evil against their husband? Huh? And after he died, she never spoke against him. And how many women could say that? And she never looked at another man for sex or anything like that. And how many women today in this country, and they know they can't hold their head up when you say something like that. If you know the truth behind these stories, you can't accept people to talk this way. But you need to have respect and show them the right way. And by the way, I've had so many of them say, gee, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. Gee whiz, that does sound nice. I would like to. Do you wish you had a relationship where a woman was true to you no matter what? And would stand by you no matter what? Even after you're dead and gone, she'd still stand beside you? Yes, of course you do. And by the way, do you remember when we started our little talk, I told you if you heard anything that made you say, gee, I like that for me, this is something good, that you might consider worshiping Allah alone without any partners? You remember that? Well, maybe it's time now that you say, Ashhadu la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah. Watch their face. Next. Today we also have, I'm going to stay with the subject of women, we also have some very harsh attacks coming from people claiming to be Muslim. Whether they are or not, Allah knows best. Well, I'm not going to make that call. I don't need to do that. You know, the last thing I need to do is say somebody's kafir. I don't need to say that. But I can say there's a big question mark on people who say and do certain things. And I'm going to avoid those people. But I'm not going to be stupid. I'm going to find out what I can about them so that I can help other people to avoid the same thing. And in particular, I'm talking about one woman who went around the country saying a lot of bad things against Islam and claimed to be a Muslim at the same time. She did a lot of bad things. And she said, this is bad, Islam is bad, oppresses to women, blah, blah, blah. But then it comes out that she is a homosexual. She only wants to be sexually with women. Islam forbids this in the Quran. And the Bible forbids this very clearly in the book of Genesis when it talks about Qawm, the people of Lot. The Bible tells them to kill people who do this and tells you how to kill them. The Bible, their book. Our book doesn't say it like that. What we know, though, this is despicable in the sight of Allah because He created a man and a woman to be together to have children. Not a man and a man or a woman and a woman. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that one out. Yet this woman is that way, and she's cursing Islam, saying she doesn't agree with Islam. Well, I guess not, because Islam is speaking against her. But this woman published a lot of stuff, and unfortunately a lot of women picked up on what this lady was saying, and they began to repeat some things not knowing that this woman was really such a deviant person. Then another woman comes along, and she's claiming to be a professor of Islam. She's a teacher. She gets paid for it, so she's a professor. And she's saying to the people that, oh, a woman can give speeches on Friday, the Jummah, the sermon on Friday, and a woman can lead the Salat, is what she said. And a lot of women again said, oh yeah, we need equal rights. Without realizing, when you do that, you give up your equity. And you don't want to do that. Because Allah perfected your deen, your way of life for you 1,400 years ago. I asked the women today in another program I was talking about, would you like to give up the right to keep all your money? Because in Islam, women don't have to support men, but men have to support women. And all the women agreed, no, I don't want to give that up. That's a good right, and I'll keep that. Women have the right to be supported and protected by men, starting with their father, their brother, their husband, and their sons. And if they don't have any family, the rest of the male community is responsible to take care of those women, because women never have to go out and get a job. They never have to go out and support themselves. And there's no such thing in Islam as a woman living underneath a bridge with one of those shopping carts or a bag lady. This is horrible and totally out of Islam. Islam is providing for the women. Now, if men don't do it, Allah will punish them for that. But it's a woman's right. Did you want to throw that right away? I don't think so. So be careful when you start talking about let's change some things, because you don't realize you can make a change you can like. What is the status of the woman in worship in Islam? Allah tells us very clearly, and I'm going to go to another chapter of the Quran, chapter 33, Al-Hasab, chapter 33, verse 35. In chapter 35, it tells a beautiful way, when Allah is talking about the believer man and the believing woman, and He uses it in Arabic so that you can hear it in a beautiful way. Al-mu'minun wa mu'minati, al-muslimun wa muslimati. But in the translations, to save space, the translators say it's not the Muslim men and women, the believing men and women, the fasting men and women, the charity-giving men and women. They summed it together, but in Arabic it doesn't say that. it says the believing men and the believing women, the Muslim men and the Muslim women, the fasting men and the fasting women, the charity-giving men and the charity-giving women, the patient men and the patient women, because Allah is making sure you understand that men and women are the same in front of Him when it comes to worship. There isn't any difference. Allah looks in the heart of both. And then in the next verse, it's very important because He took all the verse 35 to set you up for verse 36. When He said, it is not for the believing man nor for the believing woman that when Allah and His messenger have decided any matter that they have any other opinion. But they take it. And they have no resistance to the decision of the Prophet ﷺ. Now figure that one out. It's very clear men and women have this high status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the responsibility at the same time. So it isn't appropriate. It's wrong for a man or a woman to go against the teachings of the Quran or the Prophet, peace be upon him. That's the way Allah said it, not me. Now, when we come to the area where the man is different from the woman, then Allah provided for that. When it comes to the salat, we want to talk about salat. Salat is not prayer. Anybody can pray anywhere they want to. That's just raise your hands. Oh God, I need this, I need that. We call that dua. Dua. That's any place, anytime, no problem. Dua. That's what Christians know about. They don't have salat. Did you see Christians do salat? No. Don't call salat prayer. Explain to them this is a thing called salat, which is a special worship that used to be reserved for prophets. And it's in your book. They used to stand and bow and fall on their face. Exactly what we do today. No different. They faced towards Jerusalem, just as Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, used to do before the Qibla was changed by Allah in the Quran. And so what's new? Nothing. Except men and women both get to do this, and the women didn't used to do that. But after Islam came, Allah had it so men and women, all the people in Islam can do this beautiful thing called salah. And the Prophet's companions were excited and happy when the order came because they had not had this before. They loved it. They understood what it meant. It's your connection that you can speak directly to Allah without intercession, without going to a priest, without going to somebody in the grave and asking them from something. You can go directly to Allah with this thing called salah. But Allah knows there's a difference between men and women. Women have children, little small babies. Women are cooking. Women are taking care of these children. Women are taking care of the house. They're doing a lot of work. Men don't. Men have work they do. I'm not saying we don't work. A lot of stuff we do, we call work anyway. But Allah ordered the men to go every Friday to the prayer regardless. Drop your business. Drop your tijara, your, trading. Leave it and go and be in the masjid. Because there's words there you need to hear. And then, when a man's able to, he should go 5 times a day for the prayer, if he's able, at the masjid. He should go there. And the women should encourage the men to go and be in the masjid for the Fajr Salah, the morning, the noon, the afternoon, especially in the evening, and for sure to be there at night, because that's where the big reward is for the men. And protection against being a munafiq, a hypocrite. That's for the men, but not for the women. For the women, Allah made it real easy. They get more reward at home, and even more reward in their own bedroom or closet. The most reward for them. Then you have to stop everything and go do that because Allah knows they're trying to do so much at home.